Chapter 26. A Chance. Sky had headed back up the mountain, against her own inclinations, and against the desperate pleas of Jessie. "Enough, Jessie. Dylan's right, we need to keep you safe." "But Mom, what if we lose them?" A knot formed in Sky's stomach. "What if I go back down there, and I lose all of you?" "At some point, that's a chance you're gonna have to take." "Not today." Even as Sky spoke, the car was slowing. "Mom, the way things are going, we're gonna have to take a stand or everything, and everyone is gonna be gone." The knot twisted. "We can't be part of a battle. Neither of us know anything about that. We'd be more of a hazard than a help." Sky ran a hand down her face. "We'll find a place to watch, then maybe we'll see another way to help." Sky and Jessie went further up the road until they found a little pull-off. From there, they could see the town and the battle below. Sky suddenly wished they couldn't see it. She spotted Dylan, saw the war raging around him, and felt sick. Sky covered her mouth to hold in the gasps and small sobs, especially when someone behind Dylan went down, writhing in agony. "Jessie, I can't watch this." "Mom, look." Jessie pointed to two young children, their small forms bent, their blonde heads huddled toward one another. They clutched hands as they ran down an evacuated outer street. The children zigzagged from one side of the road to the other, looking for help. Sky shoved the car in gear. She sped to the little children. When she reached them, Sky slammed on the brakes, jumped out of the Jeep and threw them into the back seat. The little ones wailed as Sky drove back out of town despite her assurances. Before she got far, Jessie pointed out more stranded people. A mother holding a baby frantically flagged them down. Sky raced to the mother and waved her in. Noticing the absence of vehicles anywhere in the area, Sky asked her, "Where are all the cars?" The young woman patted one of the crying children as she jostled her baby. When this started, the cars were moved to the other side of town for a blockade. No one guessed the infected would get this far. "Now they're coming, and we're all stuck here." She pointed out an elderly couple tottering down their driveway, clearly hoping for a rescue. Sky started toward the older couple. "Put the little ones in the cargo so we can fit them in." Once she picked the couple up, she shouted to another family that she would come back for them. Sky raced up the mountain to the Overlook's parking lot and let everyone out before heading back down. She and Jessie made trip after trip. Sky focused on driving while Jessie searched for stranded people. Once the word got out someone was rescuing them, more and more people appeared. After a while, the stream of people slowed. Sky and Jessie sat in the Jeep, making sure there was no one else. Sky tapped her finger on the steering wheel. "Where's Trisha? Why wasn't she with them?" "Maybe she's with Tom," Jessie said. "Maybe." Trisha knew how to shoot well enough. Tom may have thought she could help, especially since Colton's side was short on numbers. Still, Sky worried. She moved the car closer to Trisha's house, watching for any movement. When the fight moved closer to her friend's house, Sky saw gunfire coming from the second-story window. "She's in there, Jessie. We have to get her out." Sky studied the area around Trisha's house. The infected fought Colton men on the left. Sky's problem would be the sick scattered around the neighboring yards. "Jessie, hang on. I'm going for it." Sky floored the Jeep, screeched around the corner and up Trisha's drive. She blared the horn and winced. It might be a mistake, but she needed Trisha down here as soon as possible. The enemy was already coming for them. Trisha raced out the front door, a rifle in her hands and her long red hair flying behind her. Sky held her breath as one of the sick turned to follow her cousin-in-law. "Mom, look!" Jessie screeched. Sky turned to see a boy, about Jessie's size, running toward the car. a sick right on his trail. Jesse put his hand to his door handle. Sky reached for him. Jesse, no. You stay here. I'll go. I'm closer. With that, he was gone. Sky scrambled at her door, seeming to pull at everything but the door handle, fighting her way out just as Trisha slid into the seat behind her. Jesse! Sky shouted. Where? Trisha asked. There. Already surrounded by the sick, Jesse dragged the terrified boy back to the car. I don't have a weapon other than a knife. I have my gun, Trisha yelled as the women jumped out of the car and raced toward Jesse. If they get close, shove them. At Sky's disbelieving glance, Trisha said, I know it sounds crazy, but it works. The sick ones, once they're down, they take a while to get back up. Sky nodded. When Sky reached the horde, she shoved her way through them. Trisha used her rifle like a bat, usually taking down more than one with each swing. Sky pushed through tangled limbs and misshapen bodies, using her knife against those attacking her. The sick fought going down. But Trisha was right, once they struggled to regain footing. This opened a way out for Jesse. Jesse broke out of the ever-growing horde, still holding on to the boy. One of the sick reached out and grabbed at Jesse with its claw-like hand. The boys struggled to hold on to each other, but unbalanced, both fell. Sky's heart was in her throat when she saw Jesse drop. The sick rushed them. One of the sick dragged the other boy, kicking and screaming, across the grass. Everything slowed for Sky. What seemed like minutes was really only seconds. Strangely though, sounds remained the same. Sky willed her feet to move, but she couldn't go fast enough. Dylan's called to her. Sky searched and found him rushing toward her. Through the smoky, crowded battle Dylan appeared, disregarding his own danger, his eyes fixed on her. He tore through the fight, taking a shot when necessary, stabbing with his knife occasionally, but not slowing for anyone or anything. Dylan reached her, grabbing her arm as Sky grasped him. Each needing some sort of touchstone in the middle of all the chaos. Jesse. Sky's ragged sob told Dylan what he already knew. There was only one reason she would be here fighting this hard. Jesse cried out. Sky and Dylan sped to him, Trisha at their side. Sky pushed at the sick and used her knife when it was necessary. The three of them made a hole through the crowd of sick and found Jesse. Dylan pulled him from the pile. His hands gripped the boy as he wildly whispered it would be okay in Jesse's ear. Trisha reached the other child and rushed him back to the car ahead of the rest of them. The sick were on Sky and Dylan's heels. Dylan pushed Jesse to Sky. The boy's hands dug into her arm as she hurried him along. Dylan's rifle roared more than once. Then the crack of the rifle butt bashing skulls sounded behind them. Trisha shoved the boy she rescued in the car, leaped in and held the door open for the others. Dylan shoved Sky and Jesse into the waiting seat, then headed to the driver's side. The sick trailed him. He slammed the door shut as their ungainly bodies hit the side of the vehicle. Their bloody spit smearing the windows. Sky wrapped both arms around Jesse. He shook almost uncontrollably. I'm not sorry, he mumbled, I needed to save him. I know, baby, I know, Sky crooned, staring over the boy's head at Dylan. He took a second to glance from the tangle of sick he drove through to her. Sky's wide, tear-filled eyes shared the thought swirling through her head. We don't know if Jesse is immune.